My dear compatriots, may I wish you the very best for the promising new year ahead. I know that many of you remain concerned, worried even, about the challenges ahead. Do not fear. As a government, we will make the necessary resources available to overcome the challenges we are facing with the economy, employment, growth, protecting purchasing power, the war on poverty, but also, of course, in the area of national security, with a relentless fight against terrorism, with an efficient and independent justice system, with a coherent immigration policy, and at the same time guaranteeing everyone's freedom and fundamental rights. I would also like to mention all those who work on many different levels to help define our nation: our retired, our youth, our teachers, our entrepreneurs, our unionists, not forgetting, of course, our nurses, who I know are listening tonight from hospitals across the nation. I want to reiterate our commitment to working at an international level to diplomatically and even militarily intervene if the global geostrategic equilibrium and, more specifically, our interests are threatened. Finally, I cannot go without talking about the importance of environmental challenges. We will fulfill our responsibilities to bring about the energy transition and fight global warming and all forms of pollution. My dear compatriots, we need to stand together, not only as citizens of the country, but as citizens of the world, to guarantee peace, security, prosperity, and the preservation of our beautiful planet for generations to come. My dear compatriots, I wish you a very happy new year.
The funeral will take place next week. Do you want to attend the ceremony?
It would be advised.
This loss is so very painful to us. Dear in our memories, these loved ones will always remain. Each and every one of these families have my entire support in this difficult moment. I have decided to promote the tax on financial transactions. This is a just way of redistributing a small part of the profits which are made in the virtual economy, all too often to the detriment of the real economy. But more than a measure of justice, this is a lever to regulate financial speculation and limit excesses.
Sure. Dark and strong, please. That's really kind of you. I'm really pleased. Huh, that's not to be turned down. Thank you.
Ick.
It's tempting, but we have to weigh the pros and cons. We mustn't ignore the consequences. Of course, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. But, on the other hand, once you get mixed up in that sort of stuff... In short, at the end of the day, all things considered, I prefer to stay clean.
Ick.
I'm sorry, but we still disagree on some points.
Ick.
You have just withdrawn a bill that was being debated. No problem. The voting procedure has not yet started. The withdrawal is therefore official.
I don't usually like smooching scenes, but I wanted to tell you that you're well regarded in the barracks. The guys would fight to the death for you, and I totally agree with them. You've got some guts. Purchasing power decline.
You know full well that in our services, the empathy curve usually stays close to zero. However, I have placed my agents under surveillance, and I can assure you that after what you've done for them,
we are hearing that violent
confrontations
are underway in the city following the judicial decision that discharged the incriminated police officer who killed a young delinquent with his service weapon. The jury agreed that it was an act of legitimate self-defense and that the life of the police officer was in danger. The young boy's relatives and the wider neighborhood are extremely shocked by the verdict.
You know full well that in our services, the empathy curve usually stays close to zero. However, I have placed my agents under surveillance, and I can assure you that after what you've done for them, you're in the good books of 98.7% of the staff. I would still be careful, though, to ensure this emotional disruption doesn't get out of hand. In the field, an emotional agent is a dead agent.
We are awaiting your instructions to direct operation. The rioters have taken... The rebels have set up a barricade.
The current situation is critical. I ask you all, led by your conscience, to measure the impact of the current unrest that is shaking our country and return to reason. We must stop the violence and resume the path of dialogue.
Many people watched your television appearance as usual, but it looks like the protesters are quite determined And your few words aren't going to change their minds.
The rebels have stopped fighting. Our actions on the ground have definitely made an impression on our opponents and divided them.
The police in uniforms and civilian clothes.
We have subdued the rebel movement. There's no more unrest in the city. Order has been restored and our men have returned to their stations.
Our fellow countrymen's purchasing power. Our country's.
Good morning! Good morning! I didn't come empty-handed. In fact, I wanted you to see in order to submit to you this economic contract which, as you will see, is profitable for both our countries. Listen, don't forget that you're speaking to the head of a state that is much more powerful than yours. Every day I have to deal with extremely complex situations, which is unlikely to happen in your little territorial cocoon. However, your opinion is interesting, as usual.